Welcome to today's math lesson. As you can see, we are in a virtual classroom and we are going to do our math lesson together today in this classroom. We are going to continue practicing partitioning fourths. Now, as you can see up on our wall, we have the poster that we've been looking at the past few weeks with our math lessons. We've gone over the definition of partition and what it means for something to be equal. We've talked about half or halves, and we've talked about fourths. We're going to talk a little bit more about partitioning fourths today. As you can see, there's a rectangle up on the screen that is already partitioned into fourths. That means it has 4 equal parts. We also have a circle that is partitioned into 4 equal parts. Let's look back at our chart and take a closer look at fourths. Fourths, 4 equal parts of a whole. And then we have the pictures of the paper we cut up last week to show the 4 equal parts of a whole, of a circle, and of a rectangle. Wait a minute. I just noticed something. Look at the word fourths. Do you notice anything about this word fourths? What comes at the beginning of the word fourths? I see the word four. That beginning part of our word fourths stands for the 4 equal parts that we partition a shape into when we are partitioning fourths. So we can remember how many pieces we need by partitioning fourths by looking at the word fourths itself. It has the word 4 in it. So how many pieces are we going to have when we partition something into fourths? We will have 4 pieces. Now I'm thinking of another question. Well, if I know that fourths have 4 pieces, how can I divide shapes and make sure that I have 4 pieces? Let's go find out. Fourths, 4 equal parts of a whole. Let's start with a circle. Here we have one whole circle. I started by partitioning the circle with one horizontal line. Right now, if we look at this circle that I just partitioned, do I have it partitioned into fourths? No, because I only have 2 pieces. So right now this circle is partitioned into halves, but I need it to be fourths. So what do I need to do? I need to add another line. Now that I've added another line, I now have 4 pieces. But how can I make sure? I can make sure by numbering the pieces that I've partitioned. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can see that I partitioned 4 equal pieces. Now we know for sure that we have partitioned fourths. Let's try it again with another circle. I started with one line. This one is diagonal. Then I do my second line, and I need to make sure that I'm counting my pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We did it. Last week we talked about how we could partition rectangles into fourths a few different ways. Now it's rectangle time. I start by partitioning my rectangle in half. This makes it easier for me to see the equal parts that I've made. So I started by partitioning my rectangle into half. Then I do another line to partition that part into half, and another line to make sure that I have 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm checking over my work. I'm checking over my partitioning to make sure that I now have 4 pieces. But wait a minute. This can get pretty confusing because if I have one whole rectangle and I want 4 pieces, sometimes I think I need to draw 4 lines. Look how many lines I had to draw to partition a rectangle into fourths. I had to draw 3 lines. This kind of reminds me of when we are drawing 10 frames in class, and we have to remember we only draw 4 lines to get 5 sections. Well, when we are partitioning rectangles, we draw 3 lines to get 4 sections. Let's make sure, let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to draw 3 lines to partition a rectangle to 4 pieces. Well, we can't be tricked this time. Let's try it again. I'm partitioning the rectangle a different way this time, but I'm still doing it in half first. Then I'm partitioning that part in half and the other part in half. And how many lines did I have to draw? You can see 3 pink lines that I drew. Let's count those pieces. Remember, we have to check over our work just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job. And remember, it is super important that we label our pieces when we're getting started with fourths, just to make sure, because sometimes we make little mistakes and we don't even realize it. But when we go back and check our work, we can make sure we have 4 pieces and make any corrections if we accidentally made a mistake. Let's try one more way. I started by partitioning my rectangle in half, and then I'm partitioning it in half the other way. So now I have 4 equal pieces. Let's make sure. Don't forget to draw those number labels on each piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job. We did it. Now you're going to head back to Seesaw and you are going to practice partitioning some rectangles and circles into fourths. Don't forget to check over your work and number your pieces. How many pieces do you need when you're partitioning fourths? You need to have 4 pieces, so don't forget to number them on your Seesaw activity. Bye!